Great day. I am here today to share with you why we believe, or maybe is a better word, is we know that the Uruk platform is a truly fantastic solution for project management and for product delivery. And in a way, we are trying to elevate project management from pure technical task stage or project limited lifecycle management into a holistic product delivery approach. Hi again, my name is Munir Ajam. I am the founder and CEO of Uruk Project Management, and I'm here to share with you what we have created and why. Before we go into the platform itself, let's put things in context and let's focus on something called, I call it re-engineering the value chain with a focus on product management and to understand where we are coming from. If you think about it, companies, organizations, and here we are using company, excuse me, or organization generically. It could be government, it could be nonprofit, it could be NGOs. So organizations in general deliver value to shareholders from the product and services they sell or rent or offers, whatever service, depend on what industry you're in. So the word sell here is being used generically. So a few keywords to really define. They are in the footnote, but I want to stress them. The word product in this context, in this box, is about the output of the project. Whenever we are doing a project, at the end of the day, when we hand it over to our customers, internal or external, what is the product that we are going to hand over? And in this sense, a product it could be a facility, it could be a hotel, a restaurant, a power plant, or it could be a service, or it could be a software solution, a digital solution, whatever the case might be. So please, whenever you listen and read this word here, in this context, product could mean any of those things I just mentioned, and selling could refer to renting, selling, subscribing, whatever the case might be. So let's restate this since the definition are out of the way. So organization deliver value to their shareholders from the product and services they sell to their customer. Right? So that is the given. Now let's go backward. And in order for these companies or organizations to sell the product and services, they have to acquire them. They have to do what we call an acquisition phase of a product management, is basically to acquire that facility or the product. Obviously, for example, this video is talking about the Uruk platform. The Uruk platform is a product. Before I can make revenue from it, or before we can offer it to our customer, we have to build it, right? So how do we build it? Companies build these things through project. So if now we go backward, reverse this, we need a project. We need a project to build a product, a software that will produce the things that we can sell to customer to generate revenue, profit, and shareholder value. Right? So this is the things in context. So here what I'm trying to emphasize the idea of product acquisition, or if we look at the product life cycle end to end, the first phase of a product management is the product acquisition, and which we achieve that through projects. And that's where we come into this equation. So what is the Uruk platform? It's a software as a service platform, so a subscription-based platform, digital solution, to help organizations manage projects with optimal efficiency. Again, we are trying to do our best to help them do things the best they can and achieve significant cost saving, shorter time to market, and realizing benefit. So we don't only look at cost and schedule, we must look at the cost, schedule, and as a result of that, quality, risk, change, all of these things affect cost and quality and benefit. So our objective is to try to help our customer organization achieve optimal efficiency in these type of project. Now, as a company, we know what we are building is extremely adaptive and with a great deal of agility built into the platform. However, in the beginning, our focus is primarily on generic project and capital intensive project. These are facilities project, usually, again, facilities like a building, a factory, a renewable energy generation plant, whatever the case might be. So how do we do that? The process that we use to achieve the optimal, that we use to help organization achieve optimal efficiency is first, we must focus on the product delivery life cycle. So the entire life cycle from ideation and concept and product vision all the way until we go to market and operation. And to do that, we do it through project management. So in another way, project management is the engine that drives product delivery and product success. Our model, and as you can see on the upcoming slides, it's basically help ensure governance and better decision or informed decision making by executive due to the collaboration across organizational unit, so horizontally, and between teams and management in a vertical mode. Now, with the introduction out of the way, let's jump into why is the Uruk platform a fantastic solution? Why do we know it is, and we believe it is, and we invite you to experience it, and you will believe it as well. First, it is a solution, not a tool. And maybe I should elaborate on the word solution. It's a comprehensive, versatile, pioneering solution, right? So it's not a tool. What is a tool? A tool is usually a software tool. It could be like in a spreadsheet. It could be like it could be sophisticated, a tool like Primavera or MS Project. But these are considered tools because you've got to enter a lot of the data, and those tools are great to generate the algorithm, the mathematics modeling, so they can help you be extremely efficient. However, they don't provide you the solution. And what do I mean by this more? Listen, and as we go through this, and you will probably come with a better understanding. So on this slide, what we're sharing here is a solution, not a tool. And why are we saying that? Because it has the 6 components that I will be elaborating on one by one. The built-in organization system, the product delivery management, the numerous built-in hybrid methods, the highly adaptive and customizable approach, which is also, we are building in the component to help facilitate building a competent and winning culture, and ultimately, if you decide to go with us, the quick implementation and low cost. So let's look at one by one. Built-in organizational system. We talked a lot about project management, training, certification, tools, whatever the case might be usually in many of our online discussion. And a lot of time people focus on tools, sometimes focus, people is all we need and let's get everybody certified. Some organization or consultant try to sell you processes. In reality, neither of them work on its own. An organizational system for managing project and product delivery must be sitting on these 3 pillars together. Now, what Uruk help with, most of the things that we do in Uruk and the Uruk platform, it help with the 2 on the bottom here, the processes and the method that we are building in, and the tools and technology. So we are capturing at least 2 out of the 3 components. However, obviously we cannot provide the people unless you hire us to provide you people. But when it comes to the people side, we try to do as much as we can to help your organization build competence and competency among its professional project management staff. We do that through knowledge portals and forum, through a lot of content and education. For example, all my published ebooks are in the platform, accessible to you free of charge. We allow and encourage discussion among all the users from basically the project management community around the world to go and share knowledge as well. So there are a lot of opportunities for helping and enhancing competence in organization. Of course, in addition to this, we can also offer additional services and solution to help in that area. So this is why we believe the Uruk platform, as an ecosystem, it's built on these three primary components. Without these three components, you can achieve sporadic success, maybe ad hoc, maybe by chance, maybe based on the skill of certain project manager. However, you will not be able as an organization achieve consistent success. Now let's look at this topic, and we will look at it from two different angles. And the first angle, if you think about it today, and sometimes we hear this a lot when we go out to investors and when we talk about investment into the Uruk platform. And people think, you are project management or a PPM. There are a lot of PPM product in the market. Yes, there are hundreds of PPM tools in the market. And maybe here where we start to really need to differentiate the difference between tools and solution. For example, there are a lot of great tools out there. I use some of them, right? For example, my son actually was sharing with me the other day. They have his colleague at college. Basically, they're using their capstone project, and they're using Trello as a project management software tool. I've used Trello for years. I even introduced it to my kid when they were teenagers, and my son still uses it today. I love it. Now I have a different tool that I use for task management. But basically, Trello, Ayoya, now, which I'm using now. There are a lot of other tools out there. I'm not going to go into naming software at this point in time. But basically, they're good for what they do. However, what they do is focusing on maybe task management only. I mean, with some, of course, nice graphics and make it look good and everything else. However, the focus is on managing tasks, and they might be great for organization, that for the staff to be able to, for the different staff, whether they work on project or outside of project, to manage tasks. So they are good for that purpose. They are fit for purpose as task management. Yes, we label them project management software. Just because we use them on project, that doesn't make them a project management software. They are task management software. And maybe I need to be academic a little bit in my terminology today, so please bear with me, right? And then there are solutions that are, or tools out in the market that are good for stage management. For example, if you are working in software project, there are a lot of, and you are in the software development part, which is, most people think that's the whole project. Actually, it is a stage of a project, right? Software development by itself, unless you are a contractor, is not a project. The project is usually a business project with a software component. So when we reach the software side, the software development side, there are a lot of solutions, a lot of tools that we can use to help us with that. Same thing, for example, let's not pick on software, let's go to construction or engineering. If you work on engineering project, meaning stage of a business project, right? Unless you are engineering company and all what you do is engineering, then engineering is your project. However, in general, the engineering stage of a project is a stage within a bigger life cycle, as you will see. Construction the same way, and there's a lot of excellent software tools that could be used in engineering and construction. So there are, again, I want to emphasize on these first two points. There are a lot of what is labeled today as PPM or project portfolio management tools in the market. They really focus on task management or stage management. Some of them, they go into portfolio management, but portfolio management is really more of it stays at the higher level, doesn't go deeper into the project management part. Then we have the project management tools. Obviously, in this case, that we can consider MS Project, Primavera. Some of these things here, they are used to manage a project. However, maybe the best way I can explain this, being away from tool, is on the next slide. And then we like to think is that there is a product delivery management. And again, these 2 points, let's leave the detailed discussion for the next slide. So the questions here, as we go through this, obviously I described most of what I wrote here, but let me end with this question that I have on the bottom. are there any solutions? I mean, actually, maybe before I ask the question, if I ask you today, name for me some task management or stage management or project management software, I know you probably, if you work on project management, you could come up with maybe 5, 10, 15 different tools, and very quickly. But let me challenge you here, right? Do you know of any tool or solution, software that used in project management that support the entire product delivery life cycles? Now, maybe I have not really elaborated on this yet on the next slide. However, basically what we mean by product delivery, again, I re-emphasize, all the way from the product vision and idea until the facility or the end product is put in operation, right? So basically we need to cover that entire life cycle. And notice I'm using product delivery life cycle, not project management life cycle, and not project life cycle. I think I've said enough on this slide. It will become much more obvious on this slide. So let's look at how can we elevate project management from being a technical, pure project management into a product delivery management. That's really the hypothesis that I'm following here, and that is what we are trying to do with the Uruk platform, right? Not to replace anything, just to expand our vision, to broaden our views about what it takes to deliver success in the area of product delivery. So we start with, this is a standard, this is what we call the standard. Actually, years ago, this was what we used to call, and we can still call it, CAMP, which is a customizable and adaptable methodology for managing project. That was the origin, and we publish about this numerous ebooks and books, including my book, Project Management Beyond Waterfall and Agile. This is what we call the standard model. Now, by standard model, we do not mean fixed in stone, and this is applicable to everything, as you can see later. This is basically the starting point for us to tailor, to customize, to adapt method to fit your own context. I'll touch on this in the coming slide. So let's stay with this model, and I believe that this is, as an example life cycle. And we touched on the previous slide, basically a lot of tasks, there are a lot of task and stage management that could be used in stages like we discussed before, so I don't need to repeat what I just covered. Now, here I don't want to talk about tools. I really want to talk about the practice or the theory of project management. If you look at professional association, including PMI and the PMBOK guide, that is basically the primary source that was used for many years for people who want to become certified. And if we stay within PMI, and the same concept applies to others, but maybe PMI is the more prominent, so let's talk about it. And if you look at PMI, the PMBOK guide, as I mentioned, at least the 6th edition, because the 7th edition, I think, muddied things. So it's not as clear. And people were confused, I think, with the 7th edition. Anyway, let's not go there. This is not about PMI or the guides. But if we look at the PMBOK guide from the 1st to the 6th edition, and the most recent guide that PMI published, which is the process group guide that came out, when they look at project lifecycle, PMI or the volunteer who wrote those guides, when they look at the project life cycle, what they see is green. What I covered here in the green. What does it mean? To them, a project starts with a project charter. Meaning what? Meaning the project has already been approved. So basically, they skipped the discovery phase, and as we'll talk about it in a second. So basically, they see the project is authorized. We have a project charter. That means the business case, the feasibility, all of that stuff has been done. And they see that as project management. Why? Now, PMI doesn't say the early stuff doesn't exist, but they say it's not part of project management, is not part of the project management role or project manager role, and is not a project management function. And usually the end is a little bit muddier. Usually, when you look at most of the literatures that we've seen on project management, the end is usually with handover of the completed product to a customer, right? And then closure. So I think more or less the green cover what many project management references and guide discuss as the project management or the project life cycle, right? So this is a typical area. I'm taking my time on this because I really need to enforce that idea. Notice we're not talking about process group, we're not talking about initiation or planning, right? Because that's completely a separate subject. In terms of life cycle, basically, this is more or less. Now, PMI might use different terminology as a guidance, but basically the same thing. Prince2 and other organizations use something similar. However, I mentioned that the project in PMI start with the project charter. Yes, PMI in, I think, the 6th edition, they start talking about benefit management. That should be done earlier. But when it comes to the PLC, they still see it as this. And again, the most recent guide that was just published a week ago reflect that. You can refer to that guide and you will see something similar to this. So what's missing from this picture is the discovery phase. Obviously, discovery phase is the name we are using. You could have other name for it. But that includes what we call the concept stage or product vision, where we define the product vision, and the feasibility stage. In the concept stage, we do two things. We do the product vision, as I just touched. We do the business case, more or less. And in the feasibility, we study whether we have the capability as an organization to achieve success on this product. And a lot of research and studies and my own experience shows that a lot of projects, if they suffer in construction or engineering, the problem started with the feasibility stage, and maybe because we either did an abbreviated feasibility, or maybe we even some cases skipped it, or done very rush, whatever the case might be. Anyway, a lot of problem there. So how could we, if we want success, and I mean, let me sideline for a second here, and we've had a lot of debate on this one. Regardless what reference you follow, unfortunately, there is no single authority that talk about project success and failure. Most of the references and the studies we've seen from PMI, from Oxford University, from the Standish Group in Chaos, from independent project analysis, from numerous other studies that were done all over the world, right? They tell us that more projects failed than succeeded to achieve some or all of their objective. Some projects fail miserably and they end up being terminated. Some projects do get completed, but with significant problem, whether it was cost or schedule or maybe quality or other issues. Right? So as far as I'm concerned, why do we keep failing? Well, we are missing this. We are not taking our time to do proper product delivery and proper product vision and analysis and business case and feasibility, right? We might find, we have a nice idea, we go forward with it. So a product delivery life cycle must include the discovery phase, and we have included this in our CAMP methodological process, and we are also including this in our Uruk platform. Another thing that I can probably spend an hour talking about this, but I want to basically just say a few minutes. I cannot tell you how many projects I've seen, the physical projects, facilities, museum, plants, factories. They were finished, but we cannot operate them. Why? Because most literature that I've seen in the area of project management doesn't even talk about something called operational readiness. They focus only, we have a project, we have the project team, we need to build, for example, let's take a hotel, we go and focus on the engineering, design, and construction of the hotel. Yes, of course, maybe a hotel operator might be doing operational readiness on the side, but is not viewed as part of the project lifecycle, is not viewed as part of the responsibility of the project management organization. And as a result of that, many projects get delayed. Yeah, the facilities are finished. However, we cannot start operating because we cannot get the permit. We started too late. There are many, many reasons. So here we are also integrating this. And by the way, this is not limited to facilities, right? It's even in software product, going to market. Whenever we have a new product, we want to go to market as a startup. You want to launch a new product, going to market strategy is part of the project and must be addressed. Otherwise, you finish and then we cannot go to market yet because you're not ready. So in a way, there are multiple mini issues going on in parallel on product. So here is that I want to summarize the slide again. The main objective that we have tried to do within the Uruk platform, and why we think it's a critical differentiator for the Uruk platform, is that we are trying for years to help elevate project management. We've seen a lot of pain and sleepless night and failure in the area of project. We keep repeating many of the same mistakes. What can we do about it? That's what drove us years ago to start working on these kind of methods, and that's what led us a few years ago to basically to make the commitment to launch Uruk platform. We need to be able to think differently, right? We cannot continue to manage projects the same way. I was talking about project success and all these references, and most of these references, what they share with us, and I did not emphasize this point earlier, that for the last 20, 30 years, project success rate has been going up and down within a very narrow band. Let's say, I know many people don't like the chaos report, but let's take the chaos report as an example. From 1996 to today, the success rate has been ranging from somewhere between 26% to 35%. Some year goes up, some year goes down, right? So, and we can probably see similar trend in other organizations. So in another way of saying this, is basically the rate of project failure is consistently high despite the hundreds of software product in the market, despite millions of people with one project management certification or another. We have not seen any significant breakthrough improvement in project success. We believe we could be igniting that part for our customer, where we can start to make that difference. So I conclude this slide with basically, again, the focus on we are from idea until operation readiness, going to market, doing some initial operation time before we actually close the project lifecycle. Now, again, I know some people would see or would hear what I just said, and they would think, this is a fixed method. Again, although I already said it's not a fixed method, some people might still think about it this way. Well, it is not, and let me show you why it is not. Here are examples. This is, for example, and actually, before I continue with this slide, what I want to highlight is we classify project. When we look at project management and tailored method, we look at them from different variables. They are affected. What are the variables that affect a project management method? What are they? And I have other videos that probably I discuss this. One is the sector. Are you in capital project, or are you in technology, or are you in media and events, right? So it makes a difference. The second thing, domain. Within capital project, right? Within the capital project industry. Are you in oil and gas, or real estate development, or renewable energy, or utilities? And then we might have some additional categorization we do. And that will help us define the type of the project. And then we move into what we call the project class. Within the same type, let's say oil and gas. Okay, we said oil and gas, so let's stick with oil and gas. A small project of oil and gas that could be, usually in the $1 to $5 million range, that would be considered a small project, cannot be managed with the same processes that we use to manage a large and complex project that could be over $100 million or even $1 billion. So what we are saying here, we need to classify project. We define the type based on sector, domain, and other categories. We need to define now the class based on size and complexity. And we could generate a very specific questionnaire or a model to define classification for you. In our approach, we use 5 different classes for a project. And here I'm sharing only a couple of examples. So as you can see here, for example, this is a micro project, and it only has 4 stages. Right? I know you didn't count maybe before. There were 9 stages before. Here is another one that we call small and simple project, and this has what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stages. And if you don't have operation on that project, you can eliminate 2. And then here we have what we call medium to large project, and maybe it has 7 or 8 or even 10 stages. Again, the number of stages, it's basically more to help you becoming more iterative. If you want to really follow an iterative process, this is exactly what it is. Most people talk about hybrid. I put hybrid in here just maybe to generate some interest. But this is a traditional project management. Traditional project management is when we talk about product delivery, we have an iterative process. We follow iteration. However, this slide right now is not to talk about iteration. It's mostly to stay focused. That show you here, we just showed you that life cycle model has to be customized and adapted or tailored to different domain, types, class of project. And we just share 3 over here. Now, do we only have 3? No. As of today, what we have is 49 methods built into the system. So let's say you all work for an organization that doesn't have any project management system or method defined in your organization. You use it based, every project manager do things their own way. How do we do that? Well, you can start with Uruk Platform and use one of our methods. If you work in capital project, you might find something close to what you need. In technology, you might find something close to what you need. And if you are in other domain, we have not built method for those yet. For example, if you are in marketing or aviation or pharmaceutical industry, we have not, we are still a tiny startup. We don't have all the expertise to build all of these things yet. As we grow, we need to, bring up and upgrade our innovation unit in order to start to produce other things. And also we can do it with customers as co-developer. So we focus on general area, and we have about 16 methods in this area for the different sizes and classification. And I don't know if you've noticed that there is a small symbol here, and it could be in anywhere we have implementation. That usually indicate that we can use traditional development approach, or we can use agile development approach. The traditional approach in Uruk, we call it Big Bang. That means the product will be delivered in one piece at the end of the project. What agile development, we call it iterative incremental development, which means where we can deliver the product in iteration and increment, exactly the way we are building the Uruk platform. We started, our proof of concept was done as a Big Bang, and since that moment on, we have been doing iterative incremental development. So as of today, we have 49 methods, and we have the potential of reaching hundreds of methods. Literally, we can make the method as specific and as tailored as needed, which brings me to this point. Okay, any client that to come to us today, if they don't have any process, or if they have something, we can work with them. If they have nothing, they can use nothing, meaning no project management processes. They can use our built-in method. And if they do have a process, all what we need to do is we sit down with them, and within hours or days, we can take their processes and tailor it to the Uruk platform and give them the Uruk platform as with methods that are highly specific to that organization need and requirement. And again, we can do that very quickly. If it's a very simple method, we can do it maybe in a matter of hours. Like yesterday, I built a tailored method in 1 hour, right? Because it was something similar to a lot of stuff we've done before. We can do it very quickly. Obviously, 1 hour is ridiculous for some, if it is for a client, because we need to sit down and meet with the people and talk about what they need. So if a client have already something well defined, it can be done very quickly. And if they have something but is not as well defined, then through workshops and interviews, we can sit down within hours, again within days. In that case, maybe up to a week, we can actually give them more than one tailored method that is highly fit for their purpose. This is, the last few slides is the power of the Uruk platform, where it's highly unique and versatile and comprehensive. I think maybe some of you are starting to see that this is a true and indeed a fantastic solution. Let's just talk a little bit more, re-emphasize some of the points we've already made about adaptive and customizable. It's customizable for sector, domain, and product types, as we just discovered and we discussed. It's adaptable for the various size and complexities. Again, we have the micro project, small, simple, medium, moderate, large. And what we also have is mega project, but I think that's much bigger than we can handle at this point in time. So we are leaving that off the table for the time being. And of course, it works with agile and hybrid. I've already covered most of these, so I will just move forward. Remember I said that Uruk, because it's a software digital solution, it focuses on not only as a tool, because it gives what the tool. For example, if you want to deal with issue management, task management, a lot of these things that are covered by other software, we already have them built into the platform. So you have the tools component, and on multiple front. You want to chat with your team member, it's there. You want to create community discussion, it's there. You want to manage tasks and subtasks and assign task leader and assign stages to stage leader, it's there. So a lot of those tools are there. And of course, we are providing the processes, we're providing the template, we're providing the entire workflow, and that is the processes and method. Right? So those, out of the three pillars, we've covered the two of them quite well so far. And of course, as a new product, we continue to develop and add. However, when it comes to the people side, as we mentioned earlier, unless we are managing project for you with our own people, what we are doing here, we need to help you build the competence, your organizational competence and the individual competence. And there are numerous ways in here. And I can assure you that I can be very transparent and tell you, we don't have the expertise in all of these areas. I mean, the areas that could make a great team, we can work with others to help you. But because some of it cannot be done in the software. However, what we can do in the software to facilitate building competent and winning culture is these things. For example, team and organizational communication is like a chat service where you can build groups for your team. You can communicate, or you can communicate with anybody within the organization as a chat, like any other chat service inside the platform. Basically, there are discussion forums, the Uruk community. These are external communication. You can go post something out there. You can share a case study, of course, non-confidential. You can ask for help. Now, obviously, at this time, we are still new to market, so we don't have much there yet. However, this is for you, the community, as we get users, basically to build that community. We have the knowledge portal, and the knowledge portal includes a lot of references. I've already said earlier, including my 17 ebooks. Will include case studies, will include guideline, will include knowledge sharing, and videos and link to videos and all of that. And then there is a community library. Community library is you control. Right? Again, this is where you can share things with the community on non-confidential, non-proprietary nature. We have the performance analysis and reporting in real time. So management can go in and take a look and see what's going on in real time in order to basically to make quick decision and quick action and understand how are we performing as a company. We don't need to wait for the status review. We do not need to wait for every month. And guess what? If you work with external client, you can give them a viewer access if you like, free of charge. Your executive will have access free of charge, viewer access free of charge. Right? So you can actually keep your client informed on an ongoing basis. You can choose to give them access to monitor and to see everything in real time. Obviously, you need to make sure that everything you put in the platform, in that case, it's open to the customer, right? So that you don't put some confidential information there. Include captured lessons modules, and then also how to utilize those captured lessons to improve planning of future project. Some of the stuff is there already, some of it will be added in the future. Project success model, and again, transparency in real time in everything we do. I'm coming toward the end of this presentation. I want to share with you, sometimes people perceive us as, are we trying to compete with PMOs? No. I will talk about this more on the next slide. However, let's say an organization, whether they have a PMO or they don't, want to establish organizational project management systems and method, and they want to do it from scratch. Well, the blue, the outer boundaries here, is the 100% mark. So basically what we're saying is that this is the base case. Right? So if the company depend on the size of the company and their project workload, the cost could vary from a few $100,000 to maybe in the low $1 or $2 million, if not more. Depend again on the size and the complexity of what they need. So to build a project management method and system as a digital solution and implement it in the organization, the blue area is what the cost. If you use Uruk Platform, actually the orange, and maybe it's even narrower. So usually you can do things at 20, 30, 40% of the cost. Let's do a deeper comparison in this slide. Again, let's talk about basically, let me move my picture from here. If we talk about the Uruk platform, it does not replace a PMO or a PM division. That's not what it is today. It's a solution that helps any PM entity enhance its product delivery. The comparison that we offer here, I'm reading because I want to emphasize the point, compares the time and cost required to build the project management system and method. So basically what you saw on the previous chart, these are some of the variables that goes into it. Here I need to stress basically the last set of bullets. A project management office or project management department typically requires three things. Right? I mean, obviously there could be many other things, but these are the three major components. One, it needs the people to support and manage the project, the program, and portfolio. And whether the project manager sit in that PMO or PMD or not, that's a different story. But at least we need people. And then we need the PMO processes to manage the interface with the rest of the organization. How would a PMO interface with finance or accounting or marketing, right? We need those processes. And those two areas are none of our business. This is where the PMO are, and they do it. We can support, we can help, but this is not where Uruk is better, is the Uruk purpose. The Uruk purpose is the last point here. A PMO usually should be, if it's not doing this is maybe why PMO failed, to build the organizational project management systems and method to be used in the organization for the different type and classes of a project. That is what Uruk is trying to help with. Yes, a PMO, if a PMO or an organization decide to build things from scratch, we shared the cost in the earlier slide. If they use the Uruk system, there's significant saving. And let's look at the variable here one by one. I'm not going to go through all of them myself, but you can read them at your own leisure. From time to setup, right? In a PMO, it could take 6 to 12 months. And I know I've heard enough already that is a larger organization that could be even 18 months plus. In terms of cost, for us, it's less than a week. Or actually, it could be, if you accept what we have without need for tailoring, with a click of a button. Right? So, as soon as you say I subscribe, you get access. There are many other things here. I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to focus on the end, the idea of try it before you buy it, right? If you build it from scratch, it's going to take you months or more than a year. It's going to cost you quite a bit of money. And at the end of the day, your team might not be happy with it, or there might be issues, or there might be errors, and you could use it, but it's really like handicapped, or maybe it's not as good as you'd like it to be, right? And then in some situation, we've seen it fail, totally fail. Well, with Uruk, your commitment is zero. Right? We ask you to pay a year in advance, but as you have 90 days guarantee. So you have 90 days to try to use Uruk and work with Uruk and with our support and help and our onboarding and guidance and training and all of that. And you still have 90 days money back guarantee. Right? So worst come to worst, at 90 days, you felt like we blew it. It's not the solution you're looking for. Obviously, we get out with nothing. And you would have suffered some losses, basically the losses of the time. It's only no money loss, but the time of your people, of course. I mean, any time your people invested would be a loss. However, what would that be in comparison to building everything from scratch, right? And you might be able to figure out, for example, maybe Uruk is not for me within the first 2 weeks. And then in that case, even that effort was not much. However, we believe if you give us a chance and you try it, you will not cancel. What will you do? Well, what you will do is you probably start to identify, as a new product in the market, you might start to identify some opportunities for enhancement. You might find enhancement whether for us as a platform, or maybe there are things that you need that we have not addressed yet. Remember, we are just starting out. So there are a lot of things. Our product roadmap it still have like 3 or 4 years, 2 to 3 years in the future as we continue to develop. Like, for example, we're just about to release the program management component. The first iteration of the program management component will be going out to market shortly, and we continue to add things. So maybe not everything is there. So if there is this functionality or something that you need and we have not developed yet, and we can, obviously, if it is something we can do quickly, we can expedite it. Even better, there is something else you can do. If your organization is willing to invest into the Uruk platform and then work with us as a co-creator or co-developer, in that case, you are an investor. Let's say you invest a sum of money, whatever, we allocate a percentage of that as a credit for you, for your people to use it, and we can sit down and develop a solution for you. And this way you are not only a customer and using the platform, but you also have invested into helping us develop a new functionality. We ask you for that if there are new functionalities you want, and maybe it is not planned in the near future in our roadmap, but you want to expedite it. In that case, maybe we can mobilize a separate team for that, and as a result, we need to fund it. So here we could ask to work together in a co-developer, co-creator mode. And depend on what it is, who knows, maybe we can even do a royalty sharing agreement where we can sell, if we come up with something interesting, we can sell it as an add-on, and you will get royalty from that add-on. A couple more slides and we'll be done. Basically, a peek into the product. The Uruk platform is active today. It's a software, cloud-based, with built-in method and the entire process. I just want to emphasize this as we move forward. And just to give you I don't know why it's not advancing. Okay, here, for example, a peek into the product. This is a template for the project setup, everything that we covered here. We have the stage management processes. So basically we manage, I did not talk about this in the slide, in this presentation much. There is another presentation that we will be doing on the product, on the platform itself, getting into the product itself. So we manage the entire life cycle. We manage every stage. We have the stage gate criteria that you can establish your own criteria because we cannot do it for you. There are many modules like this, and this is the sustainability module. This is one of the modules we did in partnership with Green Project Management as an add-on to the platform. And we have the collaboration we talked about earlier. You can access it from the home screen. And any screen the home screen will always be there for you, the team chat, the community discussion, and the organization chat. And finally here, what we're showing is there are already 30 plus charts that we have built into the platform, and they could be different type of chart from the radial to the trend line to donuts and other type of chart that exist already, and we continue to add. Now I gave you a lot of things, and some of you, the typical might be challenging, said, okay, so that sounds great. Prove to us it works. Well, unfortunately, as a new product coming to market now, we don't have case studies to present to you. I mean, we can share with you our internal work, but it doesn't, that could be, that might not satisfy the curious people. So let's just focus on how can we help show you that this is a good solution. Again, before I show you, we need to emphasize a few things, reminding you. A tool is not enough. A method is not enough. Processes by themselves are not enough. People without the necessary level of competence are not enough. Altogether, we need a high level of lead PM maturity and to help organizations deliver success consistently. So let me share with you some data from other organizations. And these are not assessing Uruk because, again, as we mentioned, we are still coming out to market right now. to start selling in the market. So these are not our numbers. These come from stagegate.com as a website, and in their case, because they are about StageGate models similar to ours, they even ask an independent benchmarking agency, as you can see on top right here, to do this. And what they come up with is that a StageGate project lifecycle model like we are building, it helps organizations deliver things, increase the speed to market of their product by 30%. They more than double the chance of revenue and profit, and more than 2.5 the chance of achieving budget and on-time performance. These are from stagegate.com, and my own experience 35 years into the industry shows that this is definitely, I mean, obviously I did not do the studies in the number. However, we know a stage gate process actually help do things faster, better, and cheaper. And I know many people said, well, you cannot have all three. You can. And I've seen it done many times. Accepting less than all three, it's basically would not be acceptable in our book, at least. Another thing we share here, this is coming from Capital Project, which is an area of interest to us, and coming from a book by Mr. Paul Barshop, who basically use a lot of benchmarking data from independent project analysis, where they usually benchmark, which means they go deeper into actual project, completed project. They go deeper into analyzing them and comparing them to their peers and competition and other things. And what they find is that a well-defined PLC model can actually lead to obviously faster delivery, but also an increase in net present value. What does it mean? When you start your project, when you approve your project, you expect $1 million profit, let's say. When you finish, you achieve that 1 million and 5% more. And obviously it could be more, but 5% was more like an average. If you don't follow a well-defined PLC, you have some kind of project life cycle, but maybe it's not outdated or need improvement, then you could experience up to 22% loss in your net present value. And if you don't use the PLC model, right, you could actually experience up to 45% reduction in net present value. So what this is telling us, obviously some projects fail, and they get terminated. But even for the projects that are considered successful and completed and they are put to use, they could still have suffered in terms of cost and schedule and profitability. So why the Uruk platform? Well, let's give our purpose, maybe a reminder. Uruk project management purpose is to support organization to maximize shareholder value and deliver success consistently, and to help organizations transform their project management practice and build a culture of success. I hope with this little bit lengthy presentation that we are able to demonstrate and show you why we know the Uruk platform would be, if not the leading project management solution, project delivery solution in the market, at least among the top solution that would be available in the market and for years to come. With this, I end up with our website link and the Uruk platform link. The Uruk platform link, if you go there, it will allow you to set up a trial account or subscribe. For organization subscription, we would usually ask that once you go through the urukplatform.com, there is a form that you fill and that reach out to us so we can talk about it. Because it's an organization and there could be numerous variables that we need to talk to you about. Otherwise, individual users can also sign up for the trial, and they can even sign up for paid plan, usually discounted. With this, I want to end this, and I will tell you, we wish you success today, tomorrow, and always. And hopefully, Uruk will be part of your journey to that success. Thank you.